Okay, and I believe we are recording. This is exciting. Thank you so much once again for those that are joining. I have a few of you live today, and I know a lot of you couldn't make the live, but that's okay because you can watch the recording. So that's super exciting. Have so much to discuss this afternoon or whenever you're listening to this, but anyone that knows me knows that I love all things food. So this was a super exciting one to be able to talk to you all about. But I guess what leads me to this one is the interest that everyone kind of had from the last one and the feedback that I got from that and on my Instagram page. So obviously all things food, if you follow over on Insta, yeah, you know that I do love food quite a lot, and the general interest and feedback is what makes me want to do this. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. Kel and Renee, I might just get you guys to mute your, yeah, beautiful. Thank you. That's great. So I just want to say, first things first, I'm not kind of going to go into, I guess, the nutritional value of food here, the ins and outs of what you're specifically eating. I just kind of wanted to jump on in and give you an insight to what I do that helps our family, that hopefully will be able to give you some ideas and some takeaways to be able to bring to your home. Things that I've done over the years, things that work, things that don't work, and just little tips and tricks that I just feel work quite well for us at the moment. And I guess more than anything, the way that I kind of look at food and see food, and I'll go obviously a bit more into this, is just like how we're looking at it. So not so much, you know, this week I'm going to eat really healthy, and next week I know it's going to be a really rough week, and I'm going to start a juice cleanse, and just trying to set yourself up for all these amazing goals. Hey, go for it. Great intentions there. But I think it's more the approach of going into your days, not so much looking at too grand a picture here, not looking at the year, not looking at the 6-month period, not looking at the 1 month even, but it's more falling into like a daily look at what you're doing. And for me, especially this year, with one of my goals was like to eat healthier. And I know that is quite a broad goal, but it was more the whole 80-20, 70-30, however you look at it. I think, you know, if you approach your day as in, you know, knowing, let's say you've got a dinner date at night time and you're having pizza and pasta. So it's more looking at your day going, okay, well, I feel like that's me letting go a little bit at night. So I'm going to be pretty strict on my lunch and my breakfast. Or if you're going out for brunch with the girlfriends, or you've got a date or whatever you're up to, if your breakfast is going to throw you out for your day, let that be your 20%, that you're not so hard on yourself. And then by lunch and by dinner, you know, you might be having a salad at dinner time, and, you know, you might be doing a, whatever, something healthy at night time. So I think the biggest thing is not being too hard on yourself and kind of looking at that whole 80-20 approach. That's just personally what I do. Understand it doesn't work for everyone, but at least it gives you, yeah, a bit of an idea throughout your day. So what I want to talk to you about is how much I love doing things effortlessly, things that don't suck me of energy when I'm trying to prepare all this food that I'm going to talk about, kind of being organized, and also looking forward, saving time, and looking after like your future self as such. So it's kind of like being a little bit savvier and always kind of being 2 steps ahead. Like, you know, that feeling when you're on a holiday and you're like, okay, I've just had breakfast. And then you're like, okay, what's for lunch? And then what's for dinner? It's kind of being that little bit savvy of yourself and like your week ahead and what you're doing, so that you are just like setting yourself up for hopefully no fails. So I think like what I want to say to you today is try to, if you can, think about what works for you, what works for your family. Obviously, we're all in different situations, so this is where the whole personalization comes in. So you could be a couple, you could be a parent, you could be on your own, you could have 6 children, you know, hat off to you. But every single one of us is in such a different situation that I think you have to really be mindful of that as well. So that's where a meal plan will come in. Fantastic. That's when I say try to be a little bit more creative, whatever that may mean for you, and just setting up your weeks so that you are somewhat in control and you don't kind of, let's say, fall off the bandwagon as such, as we all feel. So grab a pen and paper if you haven't already got one. Everyone looks organized. Yay! I probably should have mentioned it as well, but over on my website, I've got menu plans. Like part of that is the shopping list and my to-do list and my weekly plan. So they are a great resource to use. Hello, graphic designer, for helping me design those. Thank you, Renee. Amazing. So they're free downloads over on my website, but I'll show you. And I'll explain to you how I use them, how they're set up, and why I use them, I guess. So I feel like my whole process is a bit backwards. So if none of this makes sense, I've also got a blog post on my website that does break this down. So if you want to refer back to it, it's over on the blog. But for us personally, I can definitely say that we were those shoppers that were like, every fortnight we would get paid and we would just go to the grocery store. We'd be like, well, we love food, we love cooking, we'll just get what's on sale, we'll grab all the fresh produce that's in season and we'll just shop. And our thing was to actually go down every single aisle, and that is probably cringeworthy to some of you, but for us, we did not bat an eyelid. We just love it. And by the time we got to the checkout, we'd just pay and we'd go. Wouldn't look at the receipt, would not bat an eyelid. And when we started to, it was the barefoot investor, do I dare say, that made us rein it back in, because we didn't actually realize that every fortnight for, you could say, essentially 2.5 people, so 2 adults and an 8-year-old, we were dropping almost $450 a fortnight at Woolworths or Coles. And then every 2 to 3 days, we were stocking up on fresh produce. And as we all know, you'll duck up to Harris Farm for like 4 things and you'll end up walking out $50 later. And that was happening so often. And we were wondering why we weren't saving. But anyway, Barefoot Investor is for a whole nother webinar. But it was the realization that we were just dropping money on food because we loved it so loosely that we were like, whatever, yep, we love food. And like, I think that's what we actually were telling ourselves. Like, it's fine. Like, we're going to cook it, we're going to eat it, we're going to use it. But I think the biggest thing for us was looking at our fortnights and going, okay, this has to stop. We have to rein it back in. This is after reading the Barefoot. And we became weekly shoppers. Once again, that might sound weird to those that are weekly shoppers, but for people that did a bulk fortnightly shop and then had to rein it back into weekly, it just made us really take a good look at what we were spending. So that's a little story behind it, but I will go into breaking that down now. So my first step personally, as I said, if things resonate, write them down. If they don't, if you think someone else can utilize this information, share the love with them. But hopefully you'll get something out of this anyway. So my first step is always to nearly work backwards to what we have. So first thing, what I do with my approach to food is look in my fridge, look in my freezer, look in my pantry and think, what do I already have? First question, like, what's here? We always say we've got to do the groceries, but before we even start at the grocery store, it's like, what do we have? I look in my freezer and go, okay, there's a lot of meat in there frozen. I look in my fridge, there's leftover veggies, and I look in my pantry and there's that many staples that it's like, well, hang on, if I kind of be a little bit creative here and challenge myself to a bit of a MasterChef challenge and create a mystery box, I could probably whip something up right now. So I think the biggest thing is to get into your green. I'm looking at my fridge. Get into your crisper, have a look at what veggies are left over at the end of your week and create a stir fry. Nothing that, like everything, no doubt, can be popped into a stir fry. Have a look in your pantry. Have you purchased a taco kit on sale and you've got half the ingredients there for tacos? You've possibly got frozen mince in the freezer. Like, what will you need to pick up? Maybe an avocado and some herbs. Herbs is a big one actually for us. More often than not, we'll go, oh, I need a little bit of coriander just for that recipe. And then you're left with a whole bunch of coriander. So have a look at what fresh herbs that you've got. Top tip for herbs, actually, anything fresh, try not to rinse before you put them in the fridge. Only rinse them as you go. And if you have a glass jar, so if it be a mason jar or a little, I have the IKEA like round jars. If you store your herbs in a glass jar, they will last you for like 2 weeks. I kid you not. So that is a top tip, ladies and gents. So what you have to remember is that if you look at it like a business, this is all stock sitting in your kitchen and it's all money. So your fridge is full of fresh stuff. your freezer has probably $50 worth of meat, and your pantry staples all are adding up as well. So I think number one is just assess what you have, because no doubt, I mean, look at the recipe books that are out there. So many are like, you know, 3-ingredient recipes, 4-ingredient recipes. And we love to cook, and we probably cook a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, people say we cook quite fancy. I don't think we do, just because we love food and we tend to build up our ingredients in our pantry. So the ingredients that we have are always on hand, but it's good to gradually build them up, but keep it simple, I guess. So keep an eye out in your fridge, in your pantry, and in your freezer as to what you already have. Second step, so you can work with what you've already got. This would be definitely the first part of the second step, is to meal plan. So a lot of people cringe when they say that. And once again, I don't do this every single week, but as mentioned, my little meal planner here over on the website, I think if you take the time, so if it be on the weekend and you do sit down with your partner, if they're into it just as much as you are, sit down, have a coffee and have a chat what you want to be eating that week. I think it just helps the day-to-day mind like worry about what's for dinner, what's on the menu, what are we doing. I think a big thing as well that helps is understanding like your non-negotiables for the week. So a lot of us might, I mean, this is probably not ideal circumstances being in the isolation that we've been in, but once things start to change and work picks up and kids are back in after school activities, I think it's realizing what you've already got locked into your diary. So taking a look at your week, and a lot of us think in our head, oh wow, I've got to cook for a whole nother week. I need to work out, 7 days worth of dinners, lunches. Like, it seems like so much food organizing and planning. But when you start to look at your week in your diary, you might have, like for instance, last night, I actually had a catch up and a little staycation at a girlfriend's house. So I knew that I didn't need to cook dinner last night. I know on the weekend I'm going down to see my friends and my parents, so that on Saturday night I'm not cooking dinner as well. So what I actually do is, in my meal planner, I actually go through, and this is actually this week. So Monday night we actually had our 10 years. So that was already in there, and we went out for dinner, didn't have to cook. I didn't actually pop my girlfriend in last night, but I know Edie's requested tacos for Thursday. Friday, we'll see how we go, but everything that's already in there for us is already a non-negotiable. So they're things that are committed in the diary, and I know that I need to do. It just frees up, and then when you look at it, I only have to go, hang on, 1, 2, 3, possibly 4. I've actually only got to plan 4 meals for the week. So you might look in your freezer and be like, I've actually got definitely 4 meals. So you don't need to be spending money that week on food. And I think a big thing is thinking about, and this is where you're thinking ahead, is say Monday night you might have to stay late at work and you've got a meeting. Tuesday nights you've got swimming lessons with the kids. Wednesday nights is like date night with your partner, but there'll be days that you don't actually need to be at home and be cooking the big meal from scratch. You've got to think kind of savvier on those nights, that if you are cooking a spaghetti bolognese one week or whatever you may be doing, lentil soup, think about, bulking it up, doing an extra batch and putting it in the freezer, so that you're not actually thinking about that when you're walking in the door from soccer lessons or swimming about what to cook. You've actually already got this vegetable soup on the stove that just needs heating. So there's a few little things there that might help you. And also outsourcing. I love HelloFresh. Like, that was a godsend this year when I started my new job. I knew that I would not be in any mental space to be coming home and starting dinner at 6 because I was learning something new and my mind was a brain fog. But I said, let's outsource HelloFresh for a week, and they're fantastic. And I know a few of the girls here do it, but the thing with HelloFresh is I love to keep the recipe cards. So you start to get, I've done it quite a few times now. I'll just get myself a little display folder from Kmart. I keep the recipe cards, and then that's a great go-to because it is just so easy to follow their 6-step recipe card. So that's another one as well. So I think when you sit down and you take the time to look ahead at your week and see what you've got on where you don't need to be cooking, and then kind of mapping it out from there. Step 3 is where the creativity comes in, and a few of the girls have already showed me their books, but hello, cookbooks are like our best friend. I have got so many cookbooks, probably like so many of you, and if you have got a handful. Look at me, I'm literally piling them all up. I've got like 8 here in a pile. But I think the biggest thing to remember with cookbooks is, like, why did you buy them in the first place? I think really, like, I love cookbooks, but do I dare say I just sold like 10 of my cookbooks that I purchased like 10 years ago. Bill Granger is one of my favorite chefs in the whole wide world. Well, he's actually like a self-taught chef or cook. And I've just like outgrown his cooking style. And I was like, why am I still keeping these 10 cookbooks? Because I used them 10 years ago and I love him, but it's like nothing that you can't really even Google and have a look online these days. Like, so many of Bill's recipes are online, and I sold them for like $60, $10 a book or something, which was still pretty good. But I was like, no, I'm really just going to focus on the ones that I love and I use, and, you know, those go-to ones. So if anything, challenge yourself to grab your cookbook. Even ebooks are great. This one was sent to me in a PDF, and I printed it at Officeworks, which I love, because then I've got my little quick reference. I purchased it online, but I just turned it into a book, and it cost me $10 to print off, and it's all paper, it's all black and white, but that's also fine. Even if you challenge yourself, if you go, you know, that is my favorite cookbook, this week I'm going to challenge myself just to one new recipe a week. Like, that is just the fun part of it. Cook double and then just have some for lunch the next day. So yeah, if I can encourage you to cook one new meal, I would love to hear all about it. Lots of fun. I love it. And then, okay, step 4, what have we done? Step 1, yep, what do we have? Step 2 is the meal planning. Step 3 is utilizing your cookbooks. Step 4 is to write the shopping list. So, like, once again, this is a big one that we learned from Barefoot, and it was definitely going into the grocery store with a shopping list. And, you know, you'll be so tempted by other things, and then things that are on sale or things that you don't need. But if you've actually sat down and written yourself a meal plan, and you've got your recipes here, and on page 79 you've got your tacos, and you know that all you need is mince and coriander, just pop that on your shopping list. Okay, so I challenge you to like do these weekly shops. And I guess the biggest thing that we say to ourselves constantly weekly at the shops is, do we need it or do we want it? Because if we need it this week, we will buy it. If we just want it, we say, no, wait till next week. Even with the dishwashing liquid, I'll go, oh, it's on sale, let's grab it. No, I've still got half or one at home. I don't need it this week. It's just an extra expense. It's money sitting in that cupboard. We don't need it this week. So definitely it's a big one, a need or a want, to the point that my 8-year-old daughter asked me if I really needed or wanted our dryer. I'm like, Edie, it was wintertime last year, and I'm like, we need a dryer. If you want dry uniforms for school, we need a dryer. She actually asked me, do you need this, Mum, or do you want this? So it's a good one to teach your children as well, which is great. She's learning as well. So I think it's the discipline that comes with it. And if discipline to you means taking out hard, cold cash, take your $20 to the grocery store and be like, no, I'm taking my $20. I've got 6 things on my list. And you'll find over time that you will find that when you start to use a recipe book, it's funny because the girls at Swish, definitely, this is a great example. A lot of their recipes, funnily enough, they start to repeat ingredients. So you'll find that if you've got the ingredients for your sticky date green smoothie, you're nearly going to have the ingredients from the like green attack smoothie down the road on page blah blah, you know. So it's the same with like actual food recipes as well, is when you start to build up your pantry of those items, before you know it, you know, I know everyone's pantry staples may not be my pantry staples, but if you want to try that new recipe and it requires a herb that you've never used, buy it, and then just make sure hopefully you like it and you'll cook it again the following week. But it's a good way to build up your pantry staples as well. A really good app that I use is called Cozy. I think that's how you pronounce it, Cozy. I'll just show you here. It's this tiny little one, Cozy, C-O-Z-I, if you can see that, guys, C-O-Z-I. You can pay for it, but I purely just use the shopping list part of this app, because what I love about it is that I can categorize it into stores. So if I need something at the Asian grocer, or if at Aldi or at Coles, I just pop it in. But the best part about it is you can family share. So if I say to my partner, hey, while you're up at Coles, can you jump on and have a look at the Cozy app? I've popped stuff in the Coles shopping list. Can you grab it? best thing too is that he ticks it when he gets it, and you can delete it once you've got what you need. So it's so cool because I can kind of see if he's ticking them off at Coles, I know he's in Coles. And if he hasn't gotten to the Asian grocer yet, I'm like, yes, I can add something to that. So that's so handy, because I know that so many probably women take on board the whole grocery shopping. But you know, if you can get your partner on board with it as well, and they are in, and it's that seamless, and it's like, hey, it's all there on the list, can you just grab that? It makes it it takes the weight away from you if you're both hands on deck. So yeah, and just a friendly reminder, I know a lot of you out there are my subscribers, and you can take your tote bag, ladies. So take your tote. You're always going to, and that's a really good one. If you're just ducking up to get those 5 or 10 groceries, just take your tote bag. Don't take any more than what you know is on your shopping list. So even if you walk, if you have the ability just to walk to the shops, take your 1 tote bag, take your $20 note, take your shopping list or your Cozy app, and it's the discipline that goes with that, I guess. So that is a good one as well. So keeping the cash on you, writing the shopping list. Also, I guess a top tip, and I know I said before, you don't go buying all the things on sale, yada, yada, but if you find that you do buy the same tin tomatoes, or you buy the same toothpaste, whatever are your family staples, if you only like this particular washing powder, you know, I would definitely say go ahead with those kind of pantry staples or household items that are your items for you and your family that are on sale, because that is just being savvy as well. If you see your tin tomatoes on sale, yep, double up, buy 2. If they're half price, you know you're going to use them next week. So it's kind of things like that. And then, as I was saying, with the, you know, even if you challenge yourself to purchase just 1 new ingredient every week over 12 months, you're going to have 52 new things in your pantry over time that you've accrued. Like a lot of people say, oh, I'd love to start being able to, you know, make these healthy smoothies. And it might mean almond milk, maca powder, honey, protein powder, chia seeds. And you know what? If you're going to go and buy all those things first time round to make 1 smoothie, it's probably going to cost you $35. But if you kind of just incorporate and just maybe throw those chia seeds in 1 grocery shop, and then next week throw in your maca powder, and then the week after that get 2 almond milks at Aldi if they're on sale. If you gradually build your pantry with what you want to be eating, I'm not talking about like the Tim Tam stash here or like the Pringles on sale, but you know, once again, that could be your 20% of healthy eating and the letting loose part of your day. But I think it is a really good idea to gradually build. Even where I live, we have source bulk foods. So depending on where you're at, if you're wanting to try cacao nibs instead of chocolate chips in your cookies or on top of your ice cream, or buckinis, a lot of those open scoop and serve places, you can just trial like a scoop. And so it's a great way to build your pantry without it costing a fortune as well. What would be next? So I would say the cook-off, guys. So we've seen what we've got, we've meal planned, we have gotten creative, we've looked at our cookbooks, we've written the shopping list, we have, well, let's say, stocked up on our pantry staples as well, and we've done the groceries with our discipline, and now we're cooking. So I think as well, like you can go and buy all these ingredients, and once again, we're all in such different situations. I know when I was a shift worker, I just cooked every day, and I loved it because it was like there was always something on the go, there was always a fresh meal, and there was always extra. But if you're in that Monday to Friday grind and you don't want to be cooking every day, this is where you might take half an hour out of your Sunday. Actually, no, it would never take half an hour. Let's say an hour to 2 hours out of your Sunday to be like, right, lock it into your calendar, mark it like an appointment, and be like, this is my time. I'm going to put on a podcast, and I'm just going to actually cook. I'm going to cook. I'm just going to get us ready for the week ahead. So you can look at what's on your menu planner, and you can actually, you know, take the time to savor the moment and get your week ahead. So if it be like a Sunday meal plan, if you do it in the afternoon on a Saturday, or in the morning if the kids are at sport and hubby or your partner might do kids or less swimming lessons, whatever that kind of time looks like for you. But I always try to have multiple dishes on the go when I'm in the kitchen. It just makes sense. If you're going to be in there, go hard. And then you're cooking in bulk, you've got excess for lunch the next day. A really good one, actually I wrote this down so I'll remember to tell you. is working out what you are cooking. So on here, I've just written, I want to bake some banana bread. I want to roast some pumpkin. I want to do a stir fry and a quiche. So I've written that down, but I've also written down what I'm using to cook those. So am I using the oven or am I using the stove? And I've also got like a little time frame next to it. So I'll be like, okay, my oven's on, I'm going to be doing the oven things. I'll look at the time it takes me. Okay, so the banana bread takes longer than the pumpkin. That's going to go in first. Then I'll pop in my banana bread. Okay, excellent. I need the stove. Just want to fry up my quiche ingredients. That takes 5 minutes, but my stir fry might take 15. So it's also trying to utilize those things as well. So, you know, if the oven's on, use it. If the stove's going on fire, keep going. Just keep a bit of momentum in that, I guess. Oh, pop that there. And then, you know, cooking the multiple dishes, and you know, if it be like your grains for the week, I'm such a big fan of like pre-cooking. Like I might do 2 cups of brown rice and have like a brown rice dish in my fridge, or I might grab 2 beautiful cabbages and slice up some cabbage so I've got a slaw on the go, or we might do a stir fry that's there ready to go. So even if you like to just portion things up as to what you've cooked and go, you know that they're going to safely stay in the fridge for 4 days, easy, nothing will go off over 4 days, maybe 3 to 4, depending on what it is. Then, you know, if you've taken 2 hours on a Sunday to just get those things out of the way, then you know you've got your dinners there for the week ahead. So once again, everyone's so different, and I know that not everyone eats rice or whatever, but hopefully you can think about dishes and meals that actually make sense to you and your lifestyle and your family. So on saying all of that, I feel like that's pretty much me covered in a nutshell on how I run my weeks. Gosh, yeah, recap of that. Do your stock take, what you've got. I know for myself personally, when I have a really cute little meal planner like this, I use it. If you don't want to download this one, they've got them at Kmart. But I always feel like when you make that effort, you're more inclined to keep going back, and you're like, oh, it looks so nice, I'm going to stick to that. And it's a great way to keep yourself accountable. With mine, I actually laminate them. I had a friend tell me that she laminated hers. I was like, that's genius. Here's my little whiteboard markers, and at the end of the week, I just rub it straight off. So that's a super cool idea. But yeah, I guess it's just making the time. And I mean, for our family and our household, food is such a big priority. And I get that this is not everyone's main part of their day, but I know that quite often after breakfast, we are looking forward to lunch and yada, yada, you know. So I get that it's not for everyone, but hopefully it will help you in some way, shape or form. So I just want to do a little shout out as well, and a reminder that from our last Miracle Morning webinar, I did a little buy one tote, get one tote. So please jump back online and grab a tote if you're interested to do your groceries. What else did I have here? Oh, also, if you do want a little bit of inspiration with food, obviously I've got the Tasting Plate website, which has got a heap of recipes. If you haven't already seen them, they might not be for you, but just keep in mind to use all your cookbooks, mark your pages, look at those for tabs. I think they're all of Edie's actually, so can you cook this? And also, like as I mentioned in my last webinar, that if you find anything of interest, if you know you can resonate with what I'm saying, I know that this is just such a very brief overview, but if there's something that you want to discuss in more depth or detail, please reach out if you want to spend more time together, because I would love to help you and get you on your own little path of positivity and all things life, you could say. Direct message me or email me. Anything else to say? I don't know. Oh, stay tuned as well, because we may have a cute little, I will say, product joining our store soon. So if you jump on the website regularly, you might see something pop up onto the shop front very soon. But I think that is it for now. Stick around for those live, for the Q&A if you've got any questions, but I do hope to see you all soon. And thanks again, everyone, for joining. Bye.